Gaeilge Weekly is brought to you by Learn Irish Online. For way more shows, videos, podcasts and courses for learning the language, head to learnirishonline.com or patreon.com/learnirishonline.
You've been the best of times, you walk me through my darkest days. Why must I turn around? I ask myself. This just ain't fair, so hard to bear. I'm not really sure these days. You walk me, you don't
Welcome back to the show. Fáilte Rash week on show. You're listening to Gaeilge Weekly, episode number 97. Thonis ag éisteacht le Gaeilge Weekly agrón iver an nócha seacht on the podcast Gaeilge Weekly that comes out every Wednesday with 3 different versions and podcastile a hagan amach gach Céadaoin le Céadaoin Yafrúil. How are we doing? Conas atá muds galéir. Hope this week is going well for you guys. Thosaitheoirí gohfuil an teachtain seo ag dul go matíomh go dtí seo. Today I want to talk a little bit about a topic I haven't really touched on too much throughout all 96 episodes of Gaeilge Weekly. Topic nachhfuil mór an ráite agam faoi go dtí seo so chéad sé episode is nócha go dtí seo ar Gaeilge Weekly, and that is friends, but more so than friends, I suppose connection with other people. So sin cordsa ach bitir níos mó ná cordsa Ceangal agus an Ceangal atá agus an Ceangal atá ceapam ag tastal when the connection that we need le dhaoine eile. I guess I was thinking about this more last few days for a few different reasons. Is tócha gur méid smuoine faoi seo níos mó le cúpla lá a nús agus tá cúpla cúis nó cúpla fá le sin. Dús bhí Ceisteanna iontach agam an seo. Firstly, I had a great weekend here, hanging out with a lot of friends. One of those weekends where I was barely in the house, Ceanns and the Ceisteanna sin. In around me, I gcónaí tíomh mu ag déanamh rud éigean, always outside doing something. A few old friends were back in town for the weekend. Bhí cúpla sean chóirde Arash is Seville don Ceisteanna, and then a few friends who still live here but I hadn't seen in a while. Couple cara tá fós in gcónaí an seo ach ní rá siad feice agam le tamil anús, and they're just normal friends I'm seeing all the time. Gná chóirde eile bhfuil mé i gcónaí ag feiceáil agus bhfuil mud sa gcónaí ag déanamh rudaí le chéile, but there were just a lot of people around and a lot of stuff going on. You know, meeting this person here and then going for lunch with this group here, and then 1 or 2 other friends came, agus lón an seo, agus ag bóla le chara eile an sin, agus tar éis tamil tháinig duine nó chó nó chara nó beirt eile is tócha, hon éileán, hon dul amach linn, hon rud ag an óil agus mar sinse. And it was just really nice catching up with different people and spending so much time with good friends. A cajon made some le chords at Zifrula, even I'm recording this on Tuesday, to make tafadú air on March. So this is going out on Patreon actually about an hour after I record this. It's a bit last minute. So ag dul amach ar Patreon hartar or taréis an tafadú seo or ar click taréis an tafadú seo. So gachra ag tarlú ag an moment éarnach, everything happening at the last minute. Quite busy at the moment with a lot of stuff on Learn Irish Online. Tomsoch go nóthach faoi láthair le lán rudaí ar Learn Irish Online, and then of course tomorrow it will be out on Spotify and work by say le fáilir Spotify agus gach tella. But even last night, Monday night, so a rare Céadaoin went out for dinner with a few different friends who im amach on dinner le cúpla cara. And it is interesting because I was reading, well, I think I mentioned a few weeks ago I was reading this book by Dr. Steve Peters, and Dr. Steve Peters Darvanum, The Chimp Paradox, so by the name of The Chimp Paradox. And there's a lot of really good stuff in there. It's one of the best books I've ever read, without doubt. Ceanns na leabhar is fearr atá léiteagam go dtí seo, and helps you really understand how your mind works and how you can better manage your mind of chuid a bhíon the insín na gulper agus stocha cadíd na bailí is fearr chun a bheith geanas idir insín agus chun stocha just the insín a bhanistú. The best ways to kind of manage your mind and the best ways to kind of stay in control of your mind and how we react to different situations. And it talks a good bit in there about drives and different drives we have. So a drive for food, a drive for sex, and so on. So tá bíohain, tá gnáthleagan, bíohain markdal, food to survive, sex to reproduce and to keep the human race going, gnáthleagan dhaoine nua a chruthú agus an cinenne Déanta a chuneál bio agus onsca mai an cinenne Déanta in an leanúint agus markdal, so that the human race will be able to continue and survive. But there's a load of different drives, and most of them are kind of, you would expect them to be in there. But one that I wasn't, ceann nach raibh ag súil leis ar churbe, that was the drive to be part of a troop as in a group, essentially. I don't think there's any difference to ceapan go leintir fruit really in mBéarla, either troop agus group. But during session, he says the troop drive. So, mar hampla in the blin tohin in the jungle, nervy tribes agin, fós thought tribes agin, timpla down in Otsan na Yafrula, still have tribes in different places around the world. But years ago, when we were monkeys or even when we were humans, just as part of tribes, few narimans mar dhaoineach bhíbad agéirí chathú ama le chéile I tribes agus bhímans mar chuid the grúpa níos mó, we were part of a bigger group. We want to be part of that group so we wouldn't be left on our own, we wouldn't be vulnerable, we would have security, food, bheith slándáil agin, bheith bia agin, agus just to make cousins agin, that we'd have protection, and if something happened there'd be someone there to help us. We wouldn't be on our own if someone attacked us. Ní bheith muds in our einer domeach din egan hun muds onsu. So I suppose when you start thinking about it like that, it's natural that we have that in it. But I kind of never thought of, I suppose, friends and people around us as something that we kind of instinctively deep down was massively important to us. Rudeg and the fear hábhatócht dún, like down onin. Agus, I think because I spend, with my work, I'm always working by myself. I don't have a manager, nor do I have colleagues in Bonastor, no Canasi agam, agus níl cholakia agam ach an irid. So, mar sin, because of that, I guess I spend a lot of time throughout the day during the week rihin lei tríd an tachtan a cathúil an náma lom hain. But as well as that, then I live by myself. Tá mé imachoni imainer, and I was kind of speaking about this, I think, in the episode called Na Rudí Beaga, probably 2 months ago, in this charter Gaeilge hin, and this we make lauert for Sean the different things I do to keep myself, I suppose, feeling good and keep myself in a good place of mind when I'm kind of focused in on work and spend a lot of time in work and working on my own and working in front of a screen. The gulper oscor scala, the gulper imainer, agus a chahol an amer, a gulper irre na seachtana. What are the kind of small things I was doing, chadi na rudí beaga around me déanú to keep myself happy, to keep myself in good form, hun me hain a chuneál ag mothú go maith. And I guess one of the big things I've realized more and more over the last few years is to make sure I'm finding time to hang out with my friends. Ceann na rudí is mó agus tá mé tar éis é seo a chóirt faoi deara le cúpla bliain anús. Ná all agus am aimsú chun am a chathú le mo chóirte, to find time to spend time with my friends. And I guess since reading this book, and again just thinking about it more in my life over the last few weeks in terms of hanging out with my friends here, as the weather's getting better and different things going on in Seville, really tifriúla siúil Seville agus an Aimsir garin níos fearr, and being able to go out and do more things out and about and not quite as busy with work ní me cóganóthach less on upper ní realme ar ein santachtans catsa, and coming back after travelling in Ireland for a while and in Italy, kind of settling down in Seville now for the summer. Sucker she's on Seville done Sarah. I've kind of realized, wow, that is so important. And it's funny in life because that's your grand versus sale. You can have like everything you want. You could have all the money in the world and the perfect job and living in the perfect place. It's very lot of tilla, a lán argids agus lán sástal the fust agus a bheith in áit a bheith de choní in áit iontoch agus kid fan géad sástal leis an áit sin. But if you don't have friends and if you don't have people who you like to hang out with, mana bhfuil cords agat agus mana bhfuil daoine timpealart ó bhfuil tú sásta chun am a chathú lo. People who you have trust in, daoine bhfuil muoín agat onto, then it is kind of like, what's the point? Cin an fiú calíonn pointsa ag buint leis, because really you could have all the other things, but unless you have good people around you, manuel daoine maithe agus daoine a hat níon leat timpeall people that you like around you, you're going to be miserable and you're not going to be able to enjoy things. I find with a lot of stuff, because again, I suppose I do a lot of stuff on my own because my work schedule, and I'm quite an independent person in general. Is in a soch navsblach me general, and I love doing it that way, and I love even on Sunday there, the one bit of the weekend, I wasn't really hanging around with friends on teen fuints or on their shatan and nach me a cahu le cords agam. I just went to a park nearby who make a port hunger domachach and just sat down, put a little blanket out, my blanket on sin, sat down, lay down for about an hour, 2 hours, so he may she's Lime she's fra or clig, gá or clig, and I was just writing down a few notes, a few plans for the next few weeks. Ag leibh scríomh amach, cúpla rud, cúpla plan, ag buint leis an chéad cúpla seachtain eile. And it's lovely, it's cool. I love doing stuff like that, but there is a limit. So let's say, for example, I don't mind going out for lunch by myself again because my work schedule, I might not be able to do it with someone else. So if I'm trying to get out the house, trying to get away from the screen, matome giri, stocha éilú, on scáil an éilú, on sac or fa la or a clig, same go mílan no cafe, being coffee agam, no being loan agam, capra, rud I can machine. I read my book, chill out, scroll through my phone, that's it, do it on my own, that's fine. But there's a limit to it, that's fine for a few days, and I'm more than happy to do it, and I need that time by myself, Tom Shinnig Céadaoin. But after a while, I find you kind of stop enjoying things much, or it's tough to get enjoyment out of things if you're doing them on your own. Because it's dachar hon on taithneamh don sult céanna a bhaint as rudaí mas rud go bhfuil tú ag déanú na rudaí sin I the éonar. Not impossible, need do Déanta, but definitely trickier, gandát níos tú chlánaí, more challenging. And, you know, that's going to be different for different people, but it's in difriúla haidíní difriúla. But for me, it's important to remember, again, it's so easy to get, especially as someone self-employed, tá sé éasca go háirithe mar chuna féin hostaithe, kind of obsessed with work and always thinking work, and wanting to build the work and money and where I'm living and what my situation is, call me machoni is against a situation at all. But ultimately, you need to find time for your friends and kind of remember that everything else is just a bit fake. Gachardella, and there a lot of it is just a trick to make you feel like something is important. You know, alon's and ruddy shin, because sport, because telefish, because dolber, because Colaki, because drama, because mion hoshilta. Social media and drama with friends, and or maybe not drama with friends, but drama with colleagues and different people in your work and TV and sports, all just a distraction or stuff that, you know, it's a trick, it's class, and it makes it seem like those things are important, but really, are they? And will see Talvatuk, are they still going to be important in 10-15 years? Not really, but on Cordis, a tagad, le den eigen, the friendship that you have with someone most certainly will be, or hopefully will be, le couldn't say, by sin fós mar rud mór I gceann 10 mbliana I gceann 2 bliana jeg agus mar sinja. So that's definitely something I try to keep in mind. Sin gandát rud ó bhfuil me ag déanú uirecht nó bhí me ag déanú uirecht chuineáil I me insin, and that's to make time for my friends and it's a two-way street, you know, so they could be really nice to me. It's féidir lo of antas lumsa and to always be kind of, you know, chatting to me and asking me to do stuff, or do you want to meet up and do this, do you want to meet up and do this, or just how are you doing, will tu giri castle le céile honna seo dhéanú no honna sin a dhéanú agus just constatú chin chuí will tu, how are you getting on? But it works both ways as well. I need to reciprocate that back, and I remember they could be in the same position. I need to kind of check up on them, I suppose, and just make sure they're doing all good and they're happy and there's no issues. Nach bhfuil aibna gúil siad san ag déanú go maith. And yeah, it's just interesting. What is it that, like, when you sat down with someone, whether it's one person or group, nor thought to with a he, le duine aigen, grúpa, no, just le duine one, whether it's, you know, someone of the opposite sex or who you're romantically interested in, and there's that spark, nor thought spark sin, nor thought sim agat sim romances sa duine sin, and that kind of exciting feeling inside, and mochuchan spragil, tivas she, teeth. But as well as that, it could just be with a friend you haven't seen in a while, or friends you're always hanging around with, or even someone you've just met. Fiú duine bhfuil tú díreach tar éis casúló don chéadóir, someone you've just met for the first time. You know, some of the best chats are kind of most connected, I feel, with other people. Orintha ceant na córáta is fearr a bhíon agam, agus na nóméid ina mochiam níos ceangailte le daoine eile, the kind of moments where I feel more connected with other people than anything else is where I've just met someone for the first time. They're Tommy Dirk Trish Castella Denegan Dun Chaidor. You know, when I'm back at home in Ireland, I love to go to the sauna. They're in one of the hotels near me. You see them dulgati on sauna giant in a hostan on sin Congrach dum gun in Gaeilge, close to me in County Galway. And the sauna, you'll always get really good chat. And the steam room sometimes as well, and the jacuzzi even, but mainly the sauna and small name on sauna. And I love just chatting to people. You don't even get their name, they don't get your name. Níl clúacu Kentanamatart agus níl clúagatsa Kentanamatárhu, but you're just chatting away. Tá sibh a kinds and saying there for tamil about whatever. It could be something random, but I suppose because you don't know each other and you don't know each other's personalities, Marianne nachhfuil éasca stocha Kent has person tuchatá an duine eile. You're kind of trying to meet each other halfway. Tá sibh ag déanú iirecht le chéile, cos casú le chéile la bhealach idir an bhirrteamh. And that's something cool as well. Or, you know, when you go abroad and you meet someone who maybe doesn't speak any English or any of the languages that you speak, they're chasan tú le duine agus níl ein cheanga a bhfuil an bhirrteamh in an labhairt le chéile, so you kind of have to use hand gestures. It's kind of the lovey úsáid, and there's kind of something wholesome and special about that. Tá rudaig and cool agus wholesome agus speisialta faoi sin. And it is interesting the connection we have as humans, and you know, even people I've not met on the other side of the world. Fiú daoine nachhfuil aithne agamar who ar an taobh eile Déanta. If I see an image from a war, if I see an image of someone starving, let's say, there's a connection there. It's not just to say, who cares, just come along. It's like an turn to nachhfuil sé sin cabhrú, because that's so sad. And it's not because your life is any different because of what's going on with them. Ní hé gohfuil da héalsa difriúil mBéarla ar cadatá ar súl lo. But it is something that kind of touches you as though cat rudagan agus just change of Weimart. It kind of affects you in one way or another. So I just think I'm not trying to get too deep in this podcast. Eipeasóid rógáin ar an bud creile seo. But I do think it's interesting. What is it between us all as humans? Cad é sin like adsarin galéir mar dhaoine is dócha bhfuil an ceangal sin agin. Agus bhfuil an ceangal sin mar dúirt méid tús an fud creile, as I said at the start of the podcast. Bhfuil an ceangal sin ag Céadaoin freshen, because if you spend a few days in your house, or you know, even in prison, people are allowed to spend time with others. People have to be given time in the yard or to meet or mix with others. You know, fiú sa frisún tugtar am don daoine an sin chun meascú le chéile, chun am a chathú le daoine eile. It is, I realize it more and more, it's kind of a basic human need, or it's a need. It's rudé bhfuil ag Céadaoin gandát, agus rudé an riachtanach doing a kind of necessary thing for us in our lives. And again, I think it's so easy to get distracted and forget to put that to the forefront. And you know, even nowadays with all this kind of, especially with men, gohori le fear, and I think some of this is great, the whole discipline and, you know, féinsmacht and self-control and going to the gym and getting yourself in a good place and educating yourself and trying to improve yourself as a person. Fios a chur féin mar chuine. And that's brilliant, and I try to follow a lot of that stuff, but equally you have to be careful, because it's easy to forget the most important thing is spending time with your loved ones, with daoine timplairt agus cordsa agus chláán agus mar sinja. So I suppose is dóilm, that's kind of been one of the things on my mind over the last few weeks. Jin ceans and the ruddy ma insín le cúpla seachtain nús, and especially I guess living here in Seville, because people come and go, you know, and I'll go at some point. I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon. Ní linn plan agam chun fágáil go luath, but in whatever, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, again 3 bliana, 4 bliana, 2 bliana, I might leave the city, and then the people who I know here, they won't be gone, they'll still be here, but I won't see them often anymore. Ní mé chun iad eáil níos mó nó gomininic. as sin amach from then on out. And I'll be looking back and I'll be saying, oh, these are the times when I should have spent more time with them, should have gone that trip, or even if I was busy with this or busy with that, few mas rather grammy gnóthach le sin no gnóthach le seo. Why didn't I just go? Cyn fá, like, not nyachi me, and would have been fine in the end. Nothing bad would have happened. Vech sé tau sa gera, like Níl Aon rud go donna chun tarlú sa gera. So I think that's important as well to remember you're kind of in the middle of this story, and that once you get to the end you can't go back and do it again, or spend more time with this person, or spend more time with that group. Níos mó ama a chathú leis an duine sin nó leis an grúpa sin. You can't change it. Ní féidir leat é afhrú once you reach the end they're ricken to an zero. So that's something trying to keep in mind. And here in Seville it's very transitive, and so Seville untransitive. Old friends there over at the weekends, and they left, and I only get to see them once or twice a year now. Ní féidir le mí deachá lach beidir or no go in aina blina anish. So it's really cool to, I suppose, have them come back, and other people are leaving Seville soon. Daoine eile tá siad ag fágáil na cathrach go luath, and you realise, and equally more people will come in by daoine nua ag teacht, and it'll be great to get to know them. But once someone is gone, you're not going to see them too often. I used to be a bit naive. Fi mé soch Ceantal ceapam bliontóin hin. I remember when I was travelling, almost everyone I met who I had a decent bond with while solo travelling is equivalent nor bhí me tastal. So I see solo travel no tastal solo tastal im éonar cúpla bliana hin. I was only 22 at the time, so kind of everyone I met bhí na gach duine a chas me lo that she had a good time. But I said, I'll come to Germany to visit you, or if you're in Barcelona. I was in Barcelona at the time, bhí me in Barcelona. I said, make sure to give me a call. And then you never see these people again. And I'm old enough now to realise that's how life works. Sometimes you spend a day, a week, a month chatting to beidir lá seachtain ó mí ó bháin le duine aigen, and then you never see them again. And that's okay, because that almost makes, tá sin ceart go leor, because that almost makes déine sé sin an taithí an lá é féin, nó an seachtain í féin. That makes the day itself or the week itself, where you did spend time with them or out to a chahu amalo. It makes it more special. Déine sé ní speisialta é Bígí. And that's kind of what's cool, is the fact that it doesn't go on forever. Marial nach bhfuil sé chun leanúint rá go jo bín sé ní speisialta Marial sin dar lumsa, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, those are just a few thoughts in my head, a few things I was talking about in the other two versions of the podcast. Cúpla rud around make larts fui, or around make larts fuhu an Gnáthleagan eile. It's in fud creile. But yeah, apart from that, not too much else on this week. The Eurovision is on, actually. It's the semi-final is on tonight. The first semi-final ben chéad about the Lacanish Ursúil an Nocht. I always like the Eurovision. Actually, if you've listened to the podcast from the start, you'll know one of the first episodes I was speaking about the Eurovision, because the podcast is just 2 years old now, or just a bit older than 2 years old. An put Carlinish, Gnáthleagan dísh, no Bígí smó, no Gnáthleagan dísh. So I was speaking a bit about it then, and also last year I think I did a bit, maybe not a full episode on it. Bitter an Lori vi me ag larts Bígí fui ní episode umlan. And a lot of people always say to me, "Ag only been dinner all them." Like, oh, I wouldn't have thought you'd be into the Eurovision. Like, ní bheith clógam go make sim against the Eurofish. And I'm not one of these people who I've not heard a single one of the songs yet this year, for example. Níl cean bit it's an har an clostagam gají show mar hapla. But when it's on, especially the final on Saturday, ní smó na aon rodella on bout ceanish air on Saturn. I love to sit down and watch it. I don't know, it's something cool. I think it's a constant thing that's always there every year. Rod leanúint agus a gcónaí an sin mBéarla. It has been since the 1950s or whenever. On needs a quaigatí no Harter sin, I think 1955 was it when it started. Champions League in Eurovision, one of them is 50, one of them is 55. Capam on Eurofish needs a quaiga agus on Champions League Shrot na Championí needs a quaiga cuig nimicinse. Not sure, but not too important anyway. Needs to row hovduk arenos. But I think just because it's always on and it kind of it's a constant in my life. I like it, and I like the European aspects of it, the different languages, the Changa, and as well as that, there's loads of really good songs that come out of it. I know there's a lot of joke songs as well, which are funny in their own right. Talán around, so the joke, agus lots novelty songs. It's not shin grand refreshing, but it's you always get 3 or 4 like decent actual songs, like radio songs that come out of it every year. It only been Arthur 3 no Cara. like Aaron Chiart, the Huggle Amok, Gach Blin. You might know Snap, that's a big song here. Is, I think Armenia or something like that a few years ago. But it was big here. I think it's big back at home in Ireland as well. Snap by Rosa Lynn. Oh, Rodings of the Shin. And there's been loads of good ones. Saldi, Le Mahmood, and Ceann as an idol, bit of Cuig Blin O'Hin, or an Oi Cupla, Tana Hara on the Vui, freshen a few of the songs that won, like the Italian one 2021, Govils Fehain, Kentana Matar, and Kyanshin Ziti, Ebwani, Rodega Marshin. So this is usually a good few songs. I know, it's good crack to watch. It's not crack ma. Which I should something that people are always saying, oh, who watches it anymore? But then you go into work or you're talking to people on the Sunday or the Monday after the final, being to a glawart Sladini or an Dawnach or an Luan to race on Valti Canish, and everybody's seen it. Everybody was watching it in the end. Everybody ends up flicking it on if they're not going out on Saturday evening. Monday will see the Dullamak or Ihir Sahan. They end up watching it in one way or another, being to the fake concert in Malach, no Balach, Ella. So yeah, that is it, guys. I think I'll wrap it up for this week. That's 25 minutes, so not got too much else to say. Not going to ramble on for too much longer. In the middle, Laurts ni small capums in Gachrods and Maho and Ratsagam. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. As always, if you're listening on Spotify and you're not a Patreon member, you can head over to patreon.com/learnirishonline. And there's a load of shows to Lansone and Yartstone available over there. La Fall Hall on Shin to help you with Irish, such as éisteacht, léirish, scríb, gastrú, Botú na Ho, topic breakdowns, Muinchi Sahern, and a whole lot more. And you get Gaeilge Weekly benefits as well. Or the Gaeilge Weekly tier is available. Hall on Shin Freshen Thaw on tier Gaeilge Weekly La Fall on Shin Freshen. Find to Agrons Fresh. You get a bonus episode, and there's already about 10 or 15 bonus episodes up there from the last year or so. You can go back and listen to them. Loads of different things available on the Patreon, and you can sign up for a free trial. It's feabhas chur or chuid, Sear and éasca anish. Big thank you as always for listening, guys. Gurmila Magi as a Gaeilge Mar is Gnáthleagan. I'll speak to you guys very soon. The room we live Gahandua or Fad the Gunajay Slán agus Bannacht. Goodbye and God bless.
Must have turned round.